Hello, people, and welcome to the fourth ever edition of the King Life Podcast with yours truly, Josiah Willis, alongside my co-host and good friend, Anthony Lombardo.
Hey, guys.
And we are joined by a very special guest, Colin Smith.
Yo.
Today, we will discuss Colin's college major, his interest in computer engineering, transfer to the current college we reside at, and soon to be graduating here at a young age.
So, Colin, this is your first time on the podcast, and before we do any sort of small talk or anything, why don't you tell us who you are? What's your major?
Well, I'm a computer engineer. It's my second year at the university I'm currently at, and I've just moved into a new apartment, and that's basically about it. I've got a scooter that I ride around.
You look really lame with your damn helmet, by the way.
Yeah,
it's like this weird yellow color.
It's a bright neon yellow skateboarding helmet, which is super awesome because it's not even made for the application I'm using it for. But
didn't you say your mom gave that to you or something?
yeah, she bought it for me because she made me wear a helmet while I was hauling ass around town on a scooter.
It's an electric scooter, but Colin was one of the people that I had met. If you've been listening to this podcast, you would know. I met at the same time as Josiah. We met through rock climbing, yeah?
Yeah.
And
rock climbing.
Colin was helping us through that,
Mm-hmm.
thankfully, because me and Josiah were absolutely dying. But yeah, that was fun though.
We definitely struggled.
Yeah, and since then we've been doing stuff together. We've been, playing pool, which Colin has just bought a new pool set, billiard set. What?
Yeah, pool balls and the stupid triangle you used to set it up with.
Yeah, which is. He doesn't like paying the college money. He prefers that it goes anywhere else but
I
that.
simply refuse to pay to use pool balls when pool table and pool cues are already out.
Again, what is the problem with that? Why?
Why pay $1.50 every time when I'm paying tuition? It's spite, quite literally.
Spite?
It's just spite. I refuse to pay $1.50 every time I do it.
What
It's
makes
stupid.
it any different than any other business taking your money for the same practice?
Because I've already paid the tuition. Why not include it in the price of the tuition? Why does it have to be an extra? I already paid recreation fees. I already paid communication. I already paid all these stupid fees.
What's the recreation fee go to?
I don't know. That's the problem. It's because it doesn't go towards anything.
We're recreating.
There's a
right
set
now.
of pool balls in the stupid dorm room over there, but that's
Well,
it.
Maybe that is it. Maybe that's
the one
what it goes
set
to.
of the freaking recreation fee from thousands of students comes the one set of pool balls. So
Do you know what that money goes to at all?
No.
No.
Maybe student events, but like
It's
I
probably for
couldn't
student
know.
events.
But like those are also covered by other sponsors. Like I don't. It's,
I cannot figure that out.
Colin, bro, why do you have an interest in computer engineering?
well, I've kind of always been interested in computers. My dad was an electrical engineer, and so I've always had an interest in things technical wise. And then I've gotten into back when I was 13 at least. I got into PC building overall, and I've just ever since then I've been interested in just processors, how they function, and all that jazz.
So did that come from your father, your PC building and stuff?
No, he's not very technical in terms of computers. He's more as an electrical engineer, doesn't really know much about how computers work, just how the electronics inside function, basically. He doesn't really understand the logic behind it. But he did introduce me to basically electronics functioning, and he actually did a master's when his senior design project his master's design project was he created a dollar bill reader for basically what it was a handicapped dollar bill reader, so you'd slide it over and it would tell you what the bill was. And ever since then I've been kind of interested in how stuff works, basically how all the computering works.
Dollar bill reader?
Yeah.
I'm confused.
So it was essentially a little box, and you'd swipe the dollar bill over, you'd pull it over or take it near it basically, and it would say out loud what the bill was, so somebody who's blind can know what the bill is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. going into your decision making over computer engineering, what is it about it you really want? Like, what are some of your goals to further emphasize with it when you just pursue the major?
Well, my dad was in the military and had been working with contractors a lot in the defense industry, like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon and all those, Northrop, all the defense companies that exist.
Oh, defense companies.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah. Essentially, my idea is to just go work on the other side of it and be the contractors that you had to deal with on a daily basis.
I see. So you want to be the person that makes your father mad?
Yes, essentially.
Cool.
He actually recently moved on to the other side of things, and now he's a contractor, which is really funny. And he understands all the difficulties that he faced. But basically, I just want to go work in the defense industry alongside him because they get to deal with all the cool stuff.
So he's around then?
Yeah, he's alive.
Right.
Not quite what I was going for, but sure.
He moved back to my area recently because when he was in the Air Force, obviously he had to bebop around all over the country, even outside the country a lot.
Yeah, that's how it is at the military.
Yeah.
How long have you been researching or studying computer engineering? Like, how long has it been? Like, you could say years or.
Was it when you were 13?
Computer engineering specifically, or just computers in general?
I guess we could talk about your interest in computers and then when that sparked an interest in computer engineering.
Yeah.
So, computers specifically, I mean, I've been watching videos about them since I was like 10 or 11, and then I built my computer at 13.
That's crazy.
One of those videos. And basically, after building my computer, I wanted to know how and why it worked. So that sparked interest in how the processors work and then how microprocessors work, because understanding how processors work is not exactly easy when you don't know how the fundamentals work in the first place.
Of course.
How memory works, storage, etc. It just kind of sparked an interest in everything and how it all works.
All right.
Did you go through like early viruses that were affect your computers in the long run, where you had to like get like new ones or update them as time went on?
So viruses are more software related. That's more computer science and cybersecurity. I do plan on getting a cybersecurity certificate, but I mean it's not my main interest.
You said that was your minor?
It's a certificate.
Certificate.
So it's something they give you alongside the bachelor's. It's not minor. I'm not really planning on getting a minor in anything because none of them are very easy. And
I don't understand what the difference between a minor and a certificate is at all.
So the minor is like, it is something you get alongside a degree. The certificate is completely, you don't even need to be really getting a degree to get the certificate. That's just something off.
Okay.
To get a minor, you basically have to get the degree. Anyways.
Why are you getting it then?
The certificate, well, it's useful. Cybersecurity. I mean, I have to take electives anyways, and since I'm taking electives that happen to align with cybersecurity certificates, then I might as well get one while I'm on the way,
Fair enough.
But I have had to replace a few computers and upgrade them. Coming back to your point, Josiah, I've had to upgrade, replace. I've been selling and repairing computers ever since probably 15 or 16 even.
Yeah, I saw you had a bunch of computer stuff in your room and all that type of stuff. Do you take orders often?
Well, I don't really take orders as much. Usually, if I'm going to build a computer for somebody, it's going to be close friends or acquaintances even. Somebody, usually speaking, if I sell something and they come back and say, I want an upgrade on this, like I sell an old used PC, then I'll offer upgrade services down the road and they'll pay me to do that. That's usually what happens, is they'll come back to me and ask me to do that.
Seeing that computer engineering is your major, were you a part of any like past computer programs alongside fellow students or anything prior to majoring in it?
Not really. I mean, I was part of the engineering program at my high school, but that's really it. I didn't even finish that because we'll get onto this later.
We might talk about that later. Also, as a small side note, I may want to ask you later for a new PC because goddamn, I got an old one. It's got a Windows 7 sticker on it, and it looks like it came from 2010s, maybe less than that.
Wow.
I love computer PCs. They're great.
I don't love it.
Yeah, I can understand why.
Yeah, I'm trying to play games and it don't work for that.
Oh no.
Nope.
You're lucky if you can get office work done on it.
Yeah, you're telling me.
Yeah.
But
do you ever find yourself going through like an overload of like how much I download on a computer to where it just probably just adds a little too much to your computer? Does it get like too hot? Does it? I mean, in general, like, do you ever have like any recurring problems with things that you have as far as computers?
I mean, yeah, I have all kinds of issues with my computer. My computer is just a realm of nonsense that I refuse to fix because, well, basically I don't have a reason. It's just, it's full of startup processes that start up right as the computer boots up that are just don't tell to not do that. And then there's far too much on my C drive. My main storage drive is basically full with games. It runs like garbage.
Why don't you have another hard drive or something?
I do. It's just the problem is it's a USB drive. Well, it's one of those external drives. So I imagine that's half of my issues is that it's waiting on that to catch up.
Well, I've also had external drives for my gaming PC, and depending, it may or may not be so troublesome. But
yeah, it's weird. My PC's had USB issues for a while that are just undiagnosed. It's just probably Windows being Windows, frankly.
So would you be the person to go to diagnose said things, and you're just not doing it? Or?
Yeah, basically.
Cool.
I know how to fix it. I just don't because it's a process that I'm not paying myself for. So
you know what? That's fair. So Colin, I heard you transferred from Sinclair with maybe some degree or something.
Yeah, I completed one of the transfer modules. Basically, it's an agreement between the two colleges that these courses count for these specific courses. Mostly what I did was just core classes, stuff like maths, literatures, humanities, so I didn't have to do that at actual college. But I did come in with an associate's, so basically I am set to graduate in the spring.
Okay.
Of next year, right?
Yeah.
So when did you transfer? Was it about a year ago, 2 years, 3?
So I started fall 2021.
Okay.
If I've got my years right, and basically I'm just going to graduate this spring. Just 2 years here at the university.
And how long at Sinclair?
It was, well, that's a complicated subject.
Is it?
Yeah. Because I did my CCP classes at high school, basically. If anybody knows, it's College Credit Plus.
Yeah.
Basically, throughout high school, instead of going to high school, I just did college courses because they took half the time, and I got myself some college credit. So I graduated high school with an associate's and an honors degree.
How many people graduate with an associate's degree out of high school?
Well, there were 50 total at the graduation ceremony that I went to. It might have been 52, but I've heard the number has been increasing as more people adopt the CCP. And
the graduating ceremony out of your high school?
No, out of the college. I went to the graduating ceremony because they do those for the community college. They do graduating ceremonies for the associate's degrees.
Now, I don't know about you, Josiah, but I have not heard about anyone doing anything like that until I met Colin.
Yeah, so I do know people tend to graduate early from high school and then they graduate early. There's been people around me in school that I would be like, oh, how old are you? And they'd be like, oh, I'm like this age or something like that. And I'm like, oh, okay. And you're already in this grade? And they're like, yeah, I'm already in this grade. I said, how? And they'll be like, oh, I took like a special test. I just upgraded and got to a certain level of where I want to be taught at. And so it's actually very possible. So people can really jump up and get a quick like start towards where they want to be at and move forward from where they was at. So they don't have to do like the traditional way of going about teaching where you go from grade to grade to grade unless you are that smart. You have a high level of IQ to really get to a certain point of where you want to be taught in your first studies if you can elevate a certain way.
Yeah. Maybe I'll touch on why this is kind of mind-boggling to me.
It can be weird.
In all of that.
It can be weird.
I'm going to say, you're okay with sharing your age?
Yeah. So I'm 18.
I'm also 18.
Yeah.
I am a freshman in college. He is a senior.
Yeah. It's always really fun when I meet new people on campus, and then the subject inevitably comes to what year you're in and how old you are, because I have a baby face.
Yeah. Well, that's true. He's also much shorter than me,
Yeah.
and I don't know. Would you say I act more mature? Maybe.
Well, depends on your definition.
I think we're just
I
different
think I've
in
got my
maturity.
shit together.
Yeah, in some ways. But another thing is, didn't you say you skipped the 6th grade?
Yeah, I skipped the 6th grade. I was taking an advanced math. I was basically in 5th grade. I was taking 6th grade math, which would have caused issues as I would have had to go to the middle school for math if I was in 6th grade. So we just skipped it all together.
I couldn't help but think that such an accelerated education in a lot of ways might be bad for you.
Yep.
Because like you said, and I don't think this was emphasized enough, wasn't your only in-person class in high school an engineering class?
Yeah, well, I did take 2 other courses in freshman year. It was like a history class and an English class. It was some stupid garbage.
Sure.
Nothing I remembered, but the engineering course is the only one that I kept through sophomore, junior, senior year.
And you also did sports, right?
Yeah, I did bowling and football, and I think that's it.
Any clubs?
Spanish club once, but
I don't know if that counts for too much.
yeah, it's not really.
To Anthony's point about having to skip a grade and moving further on with your other grade levels, and in the way you go about your teachings, or the way you just move around and whatever have you. Do you realize you're taking a risk when you're doing that? Like, oh, I could be setting myself up. Like, oh, it can be very hard or challenging, or is it too easy for you to understand like how you want to accomplish a certain feat? Or
Well, I don't want to say it's easy because it's not, frankly, but it is my level of coursework. It's challenging, but that's what school is supposed to be. It's supposed to be challenging. If I was stuck in year-long courses that I could get done in 4 or 5 weeks worth of work, then there's no point in me staying there. I might as well go take the college courses.
Yeah.
Would you say that you have stayed on this path of, having such advanced level courses and being on this absolute fast track to just get done with your school? Would you say you're still on that?
Surprise, bro.
It is. I can't even imagine. It's beyond me. But
I got you, bro. I got you.
Well, hang on. I didn't even ask the question. Chill out. Would you say that the reason you are still doing that is because you want to do that, or would you say that is because that is the path that you have been put on?
Right. Well, I put myself on this path. My mother facilitated it. She allowed it to happen, obviously, but she just helped me schedule my courses. It was all me. I've always wanted to just be challenged by the schoolwork, and my regular high school classes weren't going to do that.
You felt bored?
Yeah. I mean, like I told you about the history and English classes, quite frankly, I don't remember who taught them or what it was about because they weren't challenging in any way.
But I still can't feel... I felt like it could have been done at least in a better way. I feel like you could have been around potentially more students, at least, honors grade students or whatever. It doesn't really matter to me, but did you take all your courses online? Because that is the understanding, at least, that I gleaned from that, besides for like the engineering or whatever.
No, I took a lot of them. Well, it depends. COVID, obviously, all of them were online.
Sure.
It was friggin' required.
Which would have been your
junior and senior year.
I would think
it was the end of junior and senior year.
It's a pretty terrible time to get COVID.
Yeah, it wasn't great.
Yeah.
But it didn't change much, did it?
That's fair. Not get COVID, but have COVID happen.
Have it happen. Well, it was pretty terrible for the vast majority of us. But,
yeah.
So most of my upper level Sinclair courses were in class. The stuff that I actually had issues with, the stuff that were like art appreciation, I just took online because it was like 7 papers and that was it. and stuff like that I just frankly didn't have the patience for would just be online in a quick pace. Some of them flex pace where I can take it at my own pace and just be done in a few weeks.
I guess part of my issue is that some of the reason why I believe it was necessary for me to go through high school was because it was necessary for me to figure out what I wanted. For example, I found electives that I really liked that if I had taken online or through some by proxy thing or whatever, I would not have truly appreciated said electives.
Mm-hmm.
If I had not taken Theater 1 in person, I probably wouldn't have liked it. And theater is kind of my major right now. And my point is that these experiences to me were integral in my education. Your education does not just consist of mathematics, English, blah, 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 all these things that you have to do. It should consist also of the things that you want to do, because that's what it is.
That's what I'm doing now.
I know, but I can't.
What to do. It's a bunch of electives. I came out of high school and got thrown immediately into the stuff I wanted to do. I didn't have to take any core classes out of high school because I finished them in high school.
But I don't know.
I've never not known I wanted to do computer engineering. It's always been something I've loved.
I can get why it seems inconsequential and how certain things like that doesn't oftentimes make sense, given that your age is 18 years old and that somebody seeing that you graduated that early is kind of like, oh, wow, really? But it also goes to show you how, if you're given an opportunity to make a way, especially here in America for one, and you're able to go into details about your freedom and pursuits and whatever like that. There's a lot of choices and decisions that you're able to make, a lot of times here. So I think you're on the right track. I don't think you're also trying to dodge a bullet when it comes to certain classes. I mean, it could look like that. But at the same time, I think your thing is, if I already know where I want to be at and I already know where I want to pursue certain different things, I probably have to make certain sacrifices just to get there. So I kind of respect that, and I honestly, I think you earn your way to where you're at, and you already know exactly where you want to go. You know your classes, you know your majors, you know how to handle it. You never say it was, easy. You see what I'm saying? But you know where you want to be at. So I just think, yes, you're trying to fast track it because you already have your mind made up as to what you want to do. Then again, to Anthony's point, it could somewhat a little bit hurt you in the long run if chances are that you don't follow suit alongside after you graduate here from college.
I just
follow suit.
You follow suit in the sense of keep it moving forward, keep pursuing computer engineering in other fields like a job, or you get part of a program that was like to hire you and do certain things.
My only issue is that it seems so one-tracked. And in my opinion, you can't truly know what you want until you have explored all of your options.
I mean, I had plenty of time to explore in my younger years when I was on YouTube 24/7 instead of doing my schoolwork.
Well, let me also rebuttal that I did absolutely nothing productive during my younger years. So I will say I don't believe that your younger years are necessarily a measure of what you've truly explored.
See,
especially as you mature.
I don't see any issue with not exploring every single thing when I've already found something that I truly enjoy. It doesn't need to be the thing that I love the most in the world. It's just something I really like to do that happens to make me a fuck ton of money.
Well, I think that's also another part of it, is that you see the money and you see that you like it. So you're like, you know what? I'm just going to do this. I'm not saying you should try everything. I'm saying...
but he is willing to bet on himself, too. He is willing to bet on himself.
Willing to bet on himself?
Yeah, in other words, take a gamble. I believe Colin is a risk taker when it comes to, his studies and going about certain different things. And that's part of why he's at the position he's at right now, given that he wants to choose, further. I get to your point about how can you truly have your mind made up when you haven't fully matured, given that his age is 18. For those that don't know, I am 21 years old, so I am technically 3 years older than these guys, and I am still having to do college. I still have years left for me to keep doing this campus thing, whatever like that. But I think Colin just knows how to mature in his own way, but I also think people are just different, and that
I agree.
you know what I'm saying. So like, sometimes you joke all around, you'll be like, okay, bro, so smart, he must be an alien. You know what I'm saying? Like you might say something like that, and be like, oh, I only can get that, but he can say certain things, know certain things that you may not even know. Like at one point, a certain people can get you something, like they can say something towards you so deep, and they can get you to think about that something that they tell you about yourself, and then that form of intuition, you'll be like, man, I actually respect that, I like that, but then you'll also be like, man, I never knew that about myself. Like about a year ago or two, I was told that my mind is so good or beautiful, not in a weird way or anything, but that this guy told me, he was like, you're a visionary. And to me, I was like, a visionary? I was like, what do you mean a visionary? But then I thought about it more, about how I go about things, how I want to see myself 20 years from now. And he was like, oh yeah. I was like, you're right. I am a visionary. You know what I'm saying? So to come to a realization of what you really want to do takes time. I get where you're coming from, because you don't have your mind. No offense to you, my guy. But like, you don't have a lot of things set up in terms of your plans or your purpose going forward. You might know what's up.
To be more specific, I have no idea what the hell I want to do.
Yeah. Me and Anthony are very different in that regard.
Oh my gosh. But I love this conversation, because you don't oftentimes get this conversation, and I get where you're coming from on your side and where he's coming from on his side. It's just, I think where you're coming from is also, it feels rare to you. But to Colin, it feels occasional. And I feel like the same way with Colin. It's an occasional thing for some people to do that. It doesn't make the slightest of sense, but it's possible though, for sure.
I guess in my mind, it's the opposite of my thinking, mostly because I've been around people, and I know it can sometimes be easier for people to feel like they have their life in order, but I just can't figure out how the hell you even do that when I can't. I don't know what I'm having for breakfast today, or if I'm going to make it to class on time. I don't know what I'm doing. I just got here.
Yeah.
In the span of my life, as well as the span of being in college, I just got here. Right. I don't know what I'm doing. Right.
Well, I've basically had it down since middle school. Basically,
I can't imagine. Can't imagine.
Yeah, I the biggest sway in possibly like which degrees I was thinking about was either computer science or computer engineering, and quite frankly, I never liked software, so it was never going to be computer engineering.
But why?
I don't know why. I've always liked computers. I've always liked how they work, and it fascinates me. I'm not exactly I'm not trying to speed through these classes. I'm not trying to get them over with.
Speed through life.
Enjoy them. Right. I enjoy the classes. It just happens to be that I'm going to be done with everything really quickly.
What are your plans after school besides, make a bunch of money or whatever?
Well, aside from further education, because I'm gonna.
You said you might be going for the PhD potentially?
Yeah, gonna go for my master's first, because that's the easy part,
sure.
And it's on the way to a PhD anyways. If I decide that the extra paperwork, because it's gonna be a hell of a lot of paperwork.
Absolutely.
But if I decide the extra paperwork is worth it to continue on and get paid to do research, then I'll probably go ahead and get my PhD.
Okay.
But after school, probably just gonna go into DoD work, working with defense and all that stuff.
Is that what DoD is?
Yeah, basically. And I'm gonna get a clearance and whatnot to get. Really, the reason I'm working in defense as opposed to somewhere else is you get to work with the stuff that's behind security clearances that nobody else is allowed to know about.
Is that why you want to do that?
That's part of the reason I want to go into defense specifically. With that, it's the single most stable job in the world is working in the American defense industry.
There's a certain amount of truth to that, yeah. We just keep pumping more and more money into it.
Yeah.
Until that one day where they just cut the budget immediately.
Right.
Well, besides speculation here, or us, trying to figure out why you are going about, school the way you are going about school, what made you come into that decision or that choice that you really wanted to do that, like skip a grade, and take us back to why you chose that?
Well, did you make that decision?
For skipping a grade, it was kind of a combination of skipping 6th grade was weird. I didn't really have I didn't really care whether or not it happened. But if I had to go to the middle school to take math every morning and then get bussed back, I was gonna fucking kill myself. So
I will say, I don't think at that age you can care. At that age, I don't think you can truly comprehend even what you're asking.
Yeah, really, I didn't care. Either way, I mean, middle school wasn't that much of a step for me. It was a big step in the fact that I would walk to classes, but it was the same damn schoolwork that I had been doing for the last 5 years.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, it's just the upgrade of like where the structure of the school looks, or certain students, appear to be perception or whatever like that.
Yeah.
Oh, y'all waiting on me. Okay, I will say,
something to say, brother.
The way I viewed school was never about the work. Despite the schooling and everything around it being about the work, that's never how I viewed it, especially the separation from grades. The way I viewed it was how I worked with socially and all that stuff, as well as the way the entire school was laid out, because that was important. When you're in elementary, you start with one class basically. And then in 5th grade, we did this semi
You get
thing.
a homeroom, and you get 4 other classes you walk to in a single file line.
4 classes.
And then you get dumped into middle school where all of a sudden you got 6 different classes while you're in school.
Yep. But I also kept note of how many things were opening up to me through each sort of, not just grade level, but school. Middle school, elementary, high school. More and more things got opened up to me, and I felt more and more free. Now I feel the most free I've ever felt, and it feels fantastic.
That's dope.
But in high school, I really started to open up because I started to be able to speak more for myself and think about, what am I doing? What do I want to do? Instead of having everything shoved in my face where I'm like, okay, I guess the answer is this.
I love that,
Well, I mean, part of it, I mean, we're similar in that regard, where you're looking at the freedoms we had. I wouldn't have felt nearly as free being required to take the stupid high school classes I would have been required to take.
Sure.
I would have been stuck in these stupid classes for years on end, and I would have had to be at that school at that time. While Sinclair offered, community college I went to during high school, it offered an amount of flexibility that allowed me to sometimes not even sign on to a video call. There were flex-based courses that just would let me go whenever I wanted to.
So let's get broader right quick, because I'm curious. Why did you leave Sinclair? Just because, I mean, of course you was there, you know what I'm saying, just to go ahead, for your studies, but like, why did you decide that I wanted to transfer from there over to the current college we're at?
Well, I was always going to transfer. The moment I started doing the CCP stuff, I knew that there was no reason for me not to go to Front Associates, because it was just going to work. And there's no point in staying at Sinclair when I can just transfer to a university that actually has an engineering program, to be frank.
Gotcha. Okay. I got you. That's fair.
I mean, obviously it's cheaper as a community college, but that doesn't look very great on a resume. And I don't think they really have any bachelor's programs, let alone the master's or PhD programs I'm looking at now. And frankly, their teachers are kind of ass.
That's fair.
Math program's good, but anything other than that is
I admire the honesty
at best.
I never got to experience Sinclair in any particular way, other than the fact that I know people that are going there currently. One, I think, is getting an EMT, and the other wants to come to either Wright State or OSU or something. I don't know.
There's a few different colleges that accept Sinclair's credits. It kind of depends on what you want to do specifically, but
Sure. But
do you have any inspirations?
I have no idea what you mean by that.
Like, I mean, well,
who do I do it for?
I was gonna go into something, but this works.
Yeah, you want? Okay, sure. Because my bad for cutting you off, by the way. I was just hit my brain like, so.
Sure.
But I was just going to say, like, do you have any inspirations regarding computer engineering.
Like who or what drives me to do it?
Yeah, like I mean, you mentioned your dad, but like, is there like anybody like that's doing like the current channel, or do you see any
Yeah,
research?
you
I
said
mean,
you-
there's the obvious people like Linus Tech Tips and Jay's 2 Cents. Those are just big
Okay.
You
tech
say that
videos.
obvious as though I've
Right. Anybody who watches tech YouTube, those are the names. It's basically.
Okay.
There's a few other ones that I'm not great with names, but they're power supply testing channels. There's channels that just specifically review GPUs, and there's channels that go directly into how the logic works and how this specific technology integrates well with.
You
Intel
sound
and
like my
AMD.
roommate right now. He's big into airplanes and cars, and he watches YouTube channels regarding these specifics.
Jargon.
I cannot. Look, I think it's interesting, even from my perspective, where I don't care about that sort of stuff. But it is interesting to learn about
Yeah.
this stuff. I just can't imagine watching it in my free time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless you
I
see a
mean,
movie or a
I
TV
could
show.
I could swipe through my YouTube feed right now, and I guarantee it would be mostly Linus Tech Tips with some other random people
Bruh.
tossed in. Dank Pods, who does iPod reviews, basically.
Oh.
That's sort of what he does, but he messes with iPods and whatnot.
Mm.
Who's that one dude who yells about washing machines?
Washing machines?
Yeah, I can't remember his name.
Does that have anything to do with your
it's
engineering?
Technology Connections. That's his name.
Technology Connections.
Yeah, he's pretty cool. He does like mechanical stuff, so like how jukeboxes work before there was like digital stuff.
So you have an interest in other things besides your particular field right now?
I mean, that's
As far
pretty
as-
much directly the same thing.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, sort of.
I'm not.
It's essentially computer engineering without how do I put this? It's computer engineering without the software. It's just engineering computers with electrical components. So it's just really, really large computers. If you've ever seen Minecraft Redstone computers,
Yeah,
it's
I know what
sort
you're
of
talking
like that. It's taking really basic components like switches and limits and
I can't
random garbage.
wrap my head around all those Minecraft craziness.
Those are
things.
great, dude. I love watching those too. Those are remarkable.
Have you ever tried messing around with any of that type of stuff?
I'm not a redstone guy, quite
I
frankly.
am not.
I understand it, and you know it's fun to some degree, but it's no.
That's gotta be like for me. That would be painstaking
Yeah,
because you just have to set up every little thing instead of the
one water bucket ruins it all.
Yeah.
Did you ever see? There's movies regarding that talk about technology very in I would say in really good detail. And it's based on true stories. Have you ever seen? There's been a movie based on Steve Jobs' career and his life, and there's been Social Network.
I mean, those weren't really about the details, were they? They just had to do with
Yeah,
technology.
I mean, it was more about the inspiration, like regarding like how like to put things together, like why we have the Wi-Fi, why we have certain internet things, and
I'm not really worried about how we got there or the people behind it. I
Just-
just like
just
how it
thought.
works.
just a
Fair
thought,
enough. Fair enough.
Out my instinct.
Not to discount Steve Jobs.
Right.
The insanity, everything he did.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember my topic that I was going to get to before.
I interrupted.
It's fine.
I did not mean to do that. I promise.
Nah, y'all know where to bring this?
Oh, now we think
I mean,
on the
we can
fly.
talk about the random garbage I've got in my room.
Thinking on the fly.
Yeah, you got a bunch of crap in your room, I will say.
Well, I mean, it's anything from computer components to stupid smart hardware. Like, I got a camera for no reason.
You got like this big water dispenser that's completely unnecessary.
I love it. I got it off of
It's
a liquidation
unnecessary.
website for like
Hmm.
$15. I think it might have been 10 or $15.
You
It's
wanna?
one of those primo water dispensers. It's so excessive, but it's great.
Does it like filter the water too?
Well, I mean, primo water's already filtered, so
I don't
know.
I
It
don't
cools
know,
it
bro.
and heats it. That's the extent of what it does.
Great. Do
Yeah.
you even use the heating part, or does it even work?
Nope, I just use the cooling part.
There's no purpose for that.
No,
None.
no point. laziness. I don't know.
Yeah.
I found it for cheap, and why not?
$15.
That's not a lot for a water dispenser.
It's a lot for a college student to spend on a luxury.
Well, a lot being relative.
A lot being relative when none of us in this room have a job.
Yeah, fair.
That's a lot.
Fair.
So with that being said, with not watching any films regarding technology, have you gotten into like maybe seeing documentaries or anything like something that's been posted on Netflix?
Movies don't really work
Okay.
for that kind of stuff. I'm sure they exist, but it's a lot easier to watch a 20-minute video than it is an hour and a half documentary on
Makes
the
sense.
stuff. Or
Right.
whatever. I'd even watch a bunch of stringed videos together on how specific stuff works, but there's not a lot of documentaries on what I want to watch, or at least I haven't searched for them well enough.
Okay. At some point around this podcast, bro, you mentioned about a scooter. Do you know any technical stuff that relates to a scooter at any given chance?
Well, I know a decent bit. I mean, I know enough. I've tinkered with my other one, my old one, which we'll get back to in a second. It's basically almost tried to kill me. It's got a bunch of regular 18650 cells tied together for the battery pack with battery management to charge. My new one's kind of weird though. It's got its own charging brick inside, so you just plug right into the wall as opposed to having like a brick that you plug into the wall and then you plug the little circular connector into the scooter. Now
For your scooter, right? In particular?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and now in my new scooter, you just plug it straight into the wall like a TV. It's weird, but
How fast does it go?
well, they pin it at I think 18.6 because in
18.6.
yeah 18.6.
Huh? Like 18.6 miles per hour?
Yeah.
Okay.
They pin it there. It can go a little bit faster depending on the incline, but basically to be regarded as an electric scooter in the state we're in, it's has to be under 20 miles per hour. Has to be under 20. They cannot go faster, so they just kind of do that and then let us have as much.
If it doesn't go fast, you go slow, like.
You have it can only go 18.6 miles per hour. That is the peak. There's an eco mode and there's like a standard drive and a sport mode. Sport being relative.
Right.
That's.
What's the point of sport mode if you can't go past that?
I mean, it can get up inclines pretty easily. So like eco and drive both have issues with like anything over 30 degrees, but straight the fuck up the wall with the sport one. Sport one's got a lot of torque. It's fun. But back to my old scooter, that one, I hadn't realized it had gone flat at some point, which was really fun. The tires, because they're air tires for some reason. And after a while, I realized that it was very bumpy and it was not fast. It would still get up to that 18.6, but it wasn't smooth and, it was audibly thunking every rotation. And then I get back to my house, I flip it upside down so I can look at the wheel, and there's just patch. You can see the wet, like the wire mesh of the tire poking out through.
How did it feel seeing that?
I was like, oh, well, that's not good. And so I order a new tire. It gets in, and I go to, it's a whole process to replace it. You have to remove nuts and bolts, and then you have to open it up and disconnect because the rear tire, it is used to drive the whole system. It's basically how it.
Basically a car.
Yeah, it's rear-wheel drive. But you have to disconnect the power connectors, and when I get in there, I see all of the power connectors fucking melted together.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it was super. Well, see, I sleep with this thing in my room, so the fact that I see because I just bring it on up and park it in the room.
Yeah.
It's a scooter.
And lives in that dinky studio apartment.
Yeah.
Well, not so dinky.
Well,
it's bigger than my dorm.
Yeah, it's less dinky than your dorm.
Yeah, you're right.
But I opened that up and I realized that there was at some point likely a fire in there because it takes a lot to melt the plastic that was in there. So I just returned it to Best Buy because I got stupid Best Buy warranties that everybody tells you not to get, and it's friggin' awesome because I got to get the new all-powerful. It's like the 9-box G30P or something stupid. It's got twice as much range as my old one.
Why do people tell you not to get those Best Buy warranties?
Well, because they're not. It depends. They're not cheap. frankly. And it's really, how do I put this? It's one-time use. So it's a replacement. When you replace it, that ends the warranty. And it runs in tandem with your manufacturer's warranty. So really,
well, the manufacturer's warranty is so hard to use in my opinion.
And the thing about what I like about the Best Buy ones is some of them cover accidental stuff. So like, I know a lot of tablets are covered under accidental protection. So if you like fucking crack them, you can just go in and have them either replaced or serviced. A lot of the time with tablets, they have to service them, which is really stupid. If you're going to get a protection plan, get the GSPR, which is Geek Squad Protection Replacement Plan. It's a replacement plan. So they replace it every
I heard
time
Geek Squad isn't so great at fixing stuff.
Geek Squad's fucking morons, okay? I used to work at Best Buy, for anybody that didn't know. And
Everybody.
Geek Squad is, I know more than them. I was working there at like 16, 17, 18. Well, I think it was more 17, 18. But and I know so much more than the Geek Squad employees there.
Why do you say that?
Because they're all morons. They know surface level knowledge. They use tools that I can get off like the web.
Is it every member like that?
Yeah, there was maybe one person who was genuinely more knowledgeable, and that was the board repair technician, the person that actually went to go do board repair.
Would you say that that's because of the low level of entry that they'll have typically?
I mean, yeah. Half of the issues Geek Squad's dealing with is old people that don't know how to log into their computer. So
that's true.
I don't expect much of them, but I expected more than just that. And that's really all I can provide you.
Also, if you're a part of Geek Squad or anything associated, I apologize.
I don't.
I can't believe.
I'm sure there's some of you that are smart, but they're all in corporate, so nobody's into the stores.
Honestly, I can't believe that Geek Squad actually exists. That's the name for it on one entire like.
They have the fucking Genius Bar at Apple, and I'm telling you right now, they're not geniuses. Mind you, Genius Bar is way better than the Geek Squad. I'm gonna tell you that.
Do they overhype themselves a lot?
The Genius Bar? Yeah,
no, not the Genius. The Geek Squad.
The Geek Squad, not really.
Okay.
I mean, I expect tech support. See, the problem is my version of tech support is probably level 2 or 3 tech support, which is, it's beyond what any other person would have to deal with. It's stuff like having drivers not respond correctly, which is just nonsense to anybody who isn't in the field.
Or it can make sense for people that just have problems with their PCs or whatever.
Right. It's just
who've been around them.
Right. For the vast majority of my issues, they had no idea how to fix them. There was one time where one of the Geek Squad guys pulled up something that I had never seen before, and that was the board repair guy who pulled up like some system log that I hadn't seen before. That was showing that because I was having issues with the touchpad at the time, the touchpad just wasn't initializing correctly. It wasn't plugged in, which he didn't know. But at some point it had come loose in the case, which is beyond me.
Okay, that's interesting.
Yeah, but back to the scooters. Love the scooter, man. It's great for getting around town.
The big scooter.
It looks
stupid.
The scooter looks fine. I hate your helmet.
I can understand.
Dumb helmet. Dumb yellow bumblebee helmet.
Yeah, well, frankly, I'm going to keep it that way. Just to
Why? Why? There's this random ass nerd riding around in his scooter.
I mean, there's no way that taking the neon helmet off is going to make me look any better when I'm sitting down on a fucking scooter hauling ass.
Didn't you know cool guys, when they're all riding around in their motorcycles, they got no helmet, no safety gear.
Those
if you
are
fall off,
morons.
you die. Those are those cool guys.
Those are the morons.
You need to be more like that.
Yeah, that's smart.
Mm-hmm.
See, I've actually got a motorcycle temp permit now. And you know how much gear I've got? All of it. I've got all of the gear. I even got an airbag vest coming in.
Bruh. Man's gonna have like a big puffy jacket over everything.
It's gonna be like a big bubble. I'm just gonna be a bubble rolling down the road. If I lean too far, I'm just gonna hit the bubble and roll.
Bruh. You reminded me of that one meme that's like, quick, no time to explain, get in the pee. You know what I'm talking about?
That's great.
great.
Is that on TikTok?
I don't know. I
know you're talking about, but I was just thinking that was on TikTok or not. Maybe it's not.
Oh yeah, my friend Colin here has lots of views on social media as a whole, as well as TikTok.
Yeah, well, I just don't like it in general, but TikTok is particularly bad. Just read the terms and conditions. That's all you have to do. It's not technical jargon. Just read it.
Why do you?
Okay, so
yeah, you go ahead and say something first.
He says that, but he won't have anything to do with social media.
Yeah. Ooh, I was about to get it. So okay. Go ahead.
You want to maybe elaborate on that?
I see no point in broadcasting my everyday life to everyone always.
I
hate it so much. You say you like Instagram, but all you use it for is a chat function.
Chat function to see what people are doing, spy on people.
That's it. I don't need people to know what I'm doing. There's no reason. You use it for chatting and stalking, and that's it.
Bro, everybody partakes in the share of stalking, so don't you get on me. The only reason you don't partake is because you're busy off in your underneath your rock.
I'm too busy not stalking the fucking chick across the street. Yes.
What's wrong with you?
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
Man, no, I mean.
But he's to the point. No, you talk.
But no, I like your I like how you segue into that after what Alberry asked. So thank you, bro.
Yeah.
But I was just going to say, man, why couldn't you go as far as utilize the opportunity only for the fact that you could promote your technical stuff on there if you had to, based off of.
I've run Facebook ads before.
Yeah, but who the hell is that? Who's the
viewership?
The
old people who don't know how to use their computers. That's who I need to target. The old people on Facebook. And quite frankly, it worked.
But, you could go further.
I could, but I don't see a point in doing it. There's no point in broadcasting my whole life to people. It's on there.
I don't broadcast everything.
But all you use Instagram for is the chat function. You know what I can use? My SMS.
It's not just that. It's not just that. I get to find people that I know, where I otherwise would have very much difficulty in doing that.
But Colin, who's going to stalk you?
Who's going to stalk you?
Who's going to find the time to find your phone number on social media and be like, I'm going to call Colin Smith and see how he's doing?
First of all, it's not just punching in a phone number and searching for me specifically. You get recommended people.
So
people recommend you, and
it's from your area.
Yeah, from your area. People that went to school with you, or like
it's not just related. I like if you go through Snapchat, added people, I get fucking friend requests from people that I don't know.
Sure.
Just don't know.
I get it.
Like
sure.
Right. And I'm not adding people I don't know.
Here's
and
my
I'm
thing.
Doing stories.
Like,
I'm not doing. All I use is chat.
There will be group chats I will be put into that otherwise it just wouldn't happen.
Right.
There would be, things related to stuff I want to do, like theater and stuff, where it just helps me get connected to those people. And it is good for...
That is computer engineering. The only
do you
thing that's
understand
is Discord.
Do you understand
Discord
that?
is the only thing that connects computer texts to each other.
Current networking is based off of social media now.
And I'm not worried about it.
You should.
I have my networking. I have plenty of connections.
Yeah, your network of Facebook people.
No, not Facebook people. Literal people I know in real life.
Dude, you are limiting yourself.
I know
you are limiting yourself over this notion that someone's gonna be watching.
I don't see a reason for all of my shit to be on. There is no
don't
genuine
put it
benefit.
there.
Right.
Don't
why do I need
there.
it then? Why do I need to have it at all?
I
all
don't
of the
put
basic
anything
functions
out
of
there.
social
Bro,
media already exist on apps I have. I see no point in putting effort into other stupid ass accounts when I can just have the one phone number that works for everybody. Because it's SMS. It's fucking universal.
I'm the type of guy to only use cash during transactions.
I do. All the time.
But Colin, think of it like this. Would you be suspicious if you was to post a picture of your dog outside of your home? Just take a picture of your dog randomly outside your home and you post on social media oh, okay, my dog right here.
What would I do that for? Why would I do that?
But that's
Tell me
want
why.
to.
it could be
I
random. It could be, bro. It's like I'm saying,
don't
I
give
do
a
crap
fuck.
all the time, and I like hearing what other people
Bro,
got to say.
if I see,
People like
bro,
commenting.
listen. If I see graffiti outside of my neighborhood, whenever I decide to move on into my own home, when I get my own house eventually, if I see graffiti somewhere outside, I'm not going to assume somebody's going to be like, oh yeah, I know that street address. I'm gonna go out here and find Josiah.
Man.
And, yeah, man, we're
I'm
gonna
not
pull
worried
up on him
about
and
doxing. I
try to
can
assassinate
access
somebody.
on public history. Like I can get your student at email off of your name, and that gives me enough information for me to get your school account, for me to get what your address is.
But what if I don't
I'm
respond?
not worried about that.
But what if I don't respond?
No, you don't respond. All the information is available on the internet. That's not the problem here.
All of it's there
benefit.
anyway. Then
I just don't see a benefit of posting stupid shit that I don't care about.
Try it before you knock
I
it.
refuse
You
to.
can pole with deuces on your scooter.
Yeah, that's smart.
Why not?
There's no fucking point.
There's no point not to.
It takes effort and time out of my day.
I don't feel like I'm exhausted every time I take a picture.
I have a certain social meter, and that
Social
will
meter.
take off. There's
Do you-
social media in my
Hang
life.
on. That is a good question you brought up. Do you take pictures?
No.
Why?
Because I don't need to. I take pictures of barcodes. I take pictures of receipts, and that is the extent of it.
By the way, me and Josiah just shared a look real
We
quick.
literally did.
I don't take any fucking photos of myself,
Dude.
let alone anything else.
That's wacko. I don't understand that though.
You're
Why?
a pie pooper.
Do you not?
Why would I take photos of myself?
Do you
Why
not
do
have
I need-
sentiment?
Who do I need to keep fucking satiated with photos of myself?
Yo, yourself. I have
I
sentiment.
have a mirror. I can see myself.
Yeah,
I'm
you see
happy.
yourself now. Maybe you want to see how you looked back then. Or
I
how...
frankly don't give a shit.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, I like to relive memories. I like to
Who
look
doesn't?
back. And we just fist bumped, me and Josiah. But
Yeah.
I like, sure, but I like to see what it was like back then, and by proxy, I kind of feel, oh yeah, man, what, you don't get that?
Yeah.
No, frankly, no.
Wacko.
I can relive memories by reliving the memory.
You don't remember everything that's happened.
I remember what I care about.
Well, put like this. Anthony Zafire's major. His goal in life, I'm guessing, is to do films one day, right? Like do shows.
Undecided.
If I choose to,
If you
I'm
choose to.
partially undecided, but I'm leaning more and more
Right.
towards going full in.
Right, but going forward, you would look to go and promote yourself through social media. Sorry for being a pain in the behind again, but
Yeah,
he had
I'm
to
probably
promote
gonna have
himself
a bit of portfolio on my social media as well.
the same way I promote my YouTube channel. Even when I get random artists hit me up on social media talking about, hey bro, could I do did you react to my song and I got this and blah blah blah, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, for sure, I got you, and just let me know when you want me to do it, and they'll hit me with song requests. Or if I tell them, oh yeah, I do music, check out my project, it's going to drop on this date. I can't say, oh yeah, it's going to drop on this date to do a random YouTube video, and people are like, okay.
Yeah, I don't do any of that. I don't.
I know you don't. I know.
I don't need people to watch my fucking YouTube videos.
But hear me out. Let's say you ran a business, at least a business corporation. Through
That'd
you.
be different.
That's what I'm saying.
But I don't, I won't.
So listen. True, but
Why not? Just do something
Why?
recreational.
I do recreational shit.
How? Okay. What if it was to go far, right? You seem to be a interestingly private person. So what if you just promote the brand, okay, the logo, whatever, blah blah blah.
Fucking brand.
Listen.
What hypothetical
I'm saying,
talking about right now?
bro. I'm talking as if you was to run a business, right?
If I was to.
If you was to. I'm not saying you have to.
If I was
Not
to, I would
when,
use social media for the business.
Yes. So
that's it.
Okay,
For
right.
the business.
But you don't have to go ahead and take pictures of like, hey, I'm with my wife or I'm with my kids, and be like,
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I have no issue
unless
with
I was a
business.
brand for
I will not
reason.
have any businesses that require social media fucking advertising.
With the way you're talking, it seems like you never will.
I will not. I will not have any
get that.
businesses that require
And
that.
you don't have to be on YouTube and be like, hey, check
Right.
out my product. You don't have to, even go as far as to have like an ad. I mean, maybe if you are being paid come on, bro. You love money. So if you was going and get paid,
money.
right?
I'm not
Mr.
going
Krabs.
to go through non-consistent directions. Such
What
as
if
social
there is?
media.
Well, listen.
But that doesn't.
What?
That's
Go ahead,
so
bro.
silly.
It's so silly. To
You
not
are
do something
inhibiting
that
yourself.
I don't care about.
To at least see it. At least see it.
I have seen it.
Seen
I
it.
yes.
Yeah, you saw it from across the
That's
the
plenty.
damn lecture.
Quite frankly,
you
I've
looked
seen
at
it
some
on
kid
Instagram
on his
feeds.
Instagram and
They're
you're like,
pretty
damn,
garbage.
those kids and their Instagrams and Facebooks.
Have you looked at Snapchat fucking, like, whatever this stupid Snapchat section is?
FFB.
It's hell. It's
Yeah.
hell on earth.
Bro,
Hmm.
I just realized something right now.
What's up?
My mind is so just blown right now because this is our first time actually doing a full rant on the podcast, and it's with you not
course
getting
it's
through your
with my
disco
dumbass.
whatsoever. You're not getting through your disco about how you can use social media.
I'm not
on
gonna use any
YouTube.
fucking
You can
social
do
media.
any
Yeah,
ads.
it's
You can-
ironic.
Listen,
There's no point.
You could go for an ad and it only got to feature you, ain't got to feature nobody. It can just show the products, just products.
Why
Computer
the fuck would
products.
I do an ad on
Any-
social media?
I'm just
Because
saying.
it works.
It will work.
What ad on
Sponsorships.
social media would I do? Tell
Money.
me.
Bro, have you...
You mean the
This
Facebook
is
ads I ran for
dating you.
40-year-olds?
This is dating you because you don't fully realize that there are ads everywhere on Instagram and everywhere.
Which is why I don't go on there. That's part of the reason. There's no
That's
reason.
a dumb reason.
Yeah, having fucking constant ads shoved down my throat along with other
Dude,
Instagram
scroll
garbage.
past them. Scroll past them. That's what everyone in the world
I
does.
don't need them.
Okay, you know what? At this point, no more YouTube, no more Instagram talk, no more Facebook talk, no more Twitter talk, no more TikTok, no more Snapchat,
Fucking
no more,
TikTok.
just nothing. Like, no more. Don't even talk about iMovies. Don't even talk about editing software. I'm just done. I'm done. Okay? I'm
So
done.
how's your day been, Colin?
Yeah, shut the fuck up, Anthony.
So, on a more serious note, however, we know Colin, like I said, through rock climbing. I mean, Anthony knows him through rock climbing. I've been knowing Colin for about over a year. He's instantly became one of my best of friends since last year here at our college that we attend. And has also, to familiarize you guys about how he has known me, he is on my channel, the channel that says Josiah Willis, my name. And we have done like 10 reactions, trailers, reviews. We've done rock reactions together, from Greg Van Fleet to Tool to Gojira, even Nirvana reactions, you know what I'm saying? And so we have thoroughly enjoyed ourselves by entertaining you guys on this podcast, if we did. And I think Colin has had his fair share of enjoying it himself, and I'm glad that even though my guy is not that much keen on being a social media guy,
Or
definitely
out there, in my opinion.
really, but definitely is a very selfless guy. When you get to know him, he means very well. He's actually one of the most giving, kindest souls I've ever met on this planet we call Earth.
As you can tell.
And
Yeah.
but overall, y'all.
On an actual
like,
note, he is
yeah.
a really nice guy,
Yes, he is.
despite his awful audio appearance.
Yeah, I'm
But
passionate about things.
yeah, I think everybody sees that.
Yes, yeah, we're quite aware of that by this.
But did I can't remember. Did you mention that he was on the YouTube channel?
Yes.
Yes, I did.
Yes.
I did. Yeah, he's on the YouTube channel, as well as Anthony. Check out our latest reactions. We've done like 5 reactions.
Oh, yeah.
Rock. We've done soul. We've done musicals. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Musicals might start to come more and more from what me and Josiah have been talking about because
And hip hop. I'm gonna give him hit.
yeah. What something we've been talking about is he wants to maybe have some more variety to his content so that he can bring his viewers different experiences and stuff if they choose to watch it, of course. It's still going to also have a lot of the same genres of music and stuff, but he's looking to branch out a bit.
Yeah. I never did YouTube, honestly, for really be honest. I did do it in terms of monetary gain, but ultimately I just did because I love YouTube. I love music. I'm passionate about a lot of things. I'm passionate about being around guys who can socialize and hang out. We did things together that's been dope. Like even earlier today before we even got to the podcast, you might be a little, real towards the honest or
Sure, I just feel like we have covered YouTube a bit.
we have covered YouTube a bit. That's why I want to get into details about like where we ate. We ate some good pizza at a real solid pizza spot that Anthony suggested we go to.
Yeah.
Whose name is?
My roommate Edward also came with us.
Right, our roommate, his roommate. Sorry,
My
Edward.
roommate.
Right.
Mm.
Yep.
Hour.
Edward. We all went to go eat at what's it called? Again?
Giordano's, something
Giordano's?
like that.
With some pizza. Anthony had ate in Chicago.
Chicago.
Chicago, right?
Deep dish stuffed pizza.
Yeah. It was, for what it was worth, it was dope. And part of the reason why Colin is stressing a little bit on social media is because it is relieving from all that stress he had gone through earlier in the day when we started talking to the waitress.
Right.
about the tip.
Spent 20 fucking minutes on figuring out the tip and how to split the bill.
Yo, man.
Jesus, dude. That's a whole nother fucking podcast in and of itself.
It was
Right, gotta
crazy.
start cussing, man.
Guys.
We might be wanting to keep a
Dear
PG
Lord.
rating on this
Hey,
thing.
keep
You
it
lost
PG.
the PG the moment you invited my dumb ass onto the podcast.
This has turned TV-14, guys. So on a podcast.
14.
The rating keeps going up. Oh no.
On a podcast, literally. So yeah, man. But to conclude, we love you guys. Hope y'all take some time to support us, comment, follow us on any platform y'all can, and yeah, what you guys say, bro?
Don't be like Colin.
Yeah, don't be
Eat
like
shit.
Colin. Don't be like him.
At
A
least
pretty,
at
a
least
pretty,
have
a pretty boring guy who's too bright for his own good.
Metaverse.
have.
The metaverse? Are we going there now?
I think we were trying to conclude the episode. Maybe another day.
In the meantime, we are out.
See you guys.
King Life.
In life.